Hi guys, welcome to week 7 of English presentation. And this week we're going to talk about verbal skills, research, and visual aids. And there are going to be more than one part of this video, of course. So stick with me. Now, we're going to start with verbal skills. Verbal skills means the skills when you say things, okay? It needs skills to say things perfectly or smoothly. So with pausing, it means when you stop saying things, okay? With pausing, you naturally do pausing normally when you speak, okay? You might pause between sentences. You might pause between the first main point to the second main point, for example. And it's important because it's when the audience knows you're going to talk about something else next, or when you are going to separate the thought groups for the audience to follow, okay? So technically, pausing allows your audience to mentally, so inside their head, interact with your words, okay? And one part that can show pausing is punctuation. So for example, whenever you see punctuation in your script, such as a full stop or a semicolon or a comma, that's a natural pause within one sentence, okay? And it also creates meaning. If you have learned English listening and pronunciation, of course you know that the point that you pause sometimes means like make two sentences different, okay? So pausing is important, such as let's eat grandma, or let's eat grandma, or let's eat grandma. The first one means you want to cook your grandmother into food and then eat her. But the second sentence, let's eat grandma, it means you are calling to your grandma to have lunch together or to have dinner together. So that's why if you don't want to kill your grandma, use correct pronunciation, okay? Use correct punctuation. And so correct punctuation saves lives. Think like that. Now, if you still remember this, this is like a little exercise when you do in the English listening and pronunciation course. The pausing actually determines where's the start and the end of the thought group, okay? Such as like number 1, John said the boss is absent. It means John is an employee, right? And his boss maybe is going somewhere and he's delighted that actually there's no boss here, so he can do anything he wants, right? But if it says John said the boss is absent, this means the boss is there but not the employees, not John, okay? So the boss is complaining that John is absent and not there. See? So if you don't see the sentence, the audience will only know, the audience doesn't see the comma, the audience doesn't see the quotation marks, okay? So where you pause really determine what's the subject and what's the object, or what does that subject is referring to, okay? So these are like small exercise for you to try to really practice pausing, okay? Now, my advice would be, not my advice, actually, it's Mark Twain's advice. He said, the right word may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a rightly timed pause. So sometimes it doesn't matter what you say as much as how you say it. And how you say it here means how you time your words, how you emphasize each word, or how you're going to say it too quickly like this and no one's going to know what do you want to emphasize. See, there's a difference there. Now, one idea is always pause when transitioning from one idea to the next. So when I say, oh, I like tennis, because I like to play tennis every day. I like to play some sports as a team. And then if I continue saying like this, but I also say I like chess. And then you might barely heard the word chess, but I already continue my thoughts on chess playing. And sometimes the audience didn't catch that and they might feel confused. Okay, so pause when transitioning, okay, from one idea to the other. Next, this is very important because pausing and transitioning, well, it gives audience time to contemplate each point consecutively. Consecutively means orderly. So they know that you're talking about main point 1 and still in main point 1, okay? Or they know that you were going to transition from main point 1 to main point 2. They notice the pause that you have there so that they know, oh, okay, you already finished first one. You're going to talk about the second point now. Give them cues, okay? And small pause between one point to the other, but you can even have longer pauses between main body points. So between main body point 1 and main body point 2, you can have a longer pause like this. First main point, we're going to talk about. Now, the second main point, see, this is an intentional pause there to make sure that the reader, the audience, follows you, okay? And between evidence and support, just use shorter pause, okay? Now, pause to control your pace. So, like last time when you did the presentation, hopefully you saw that this occurred to some people, okay? Some people when they feel nervous, they speak very quickly so that their turn can end soon, okay? Their suffering can end soon. So they're going to say, okay, main point number 1. Okay, this picture means that and that and that and that, and this is it. Let's go to the next point. See, this is too quick, too fast, right? But if you pause between the way, it is better that way, okay? Or for some people, if it's too slow because they can't remember the script, what I'm going to say next, so it's too slow, I'm going to say that picture 2 means, see, that's too slow, yeah? That's a too long pause. So now the audience doesn't know what are you trying to emphasize because it's as if you were emphasizing every word in that sentence. So control the pause so that you can control your pace. So if you pause to control your pace, this relaxes the speaker and the audience, okay? Both, okay? So that's a good thing. And also, pausing means breathing. You have to breathe between the presentation. You can't just say it out loud, everything in one sentence without breathing, okay? Especially when you feel overwhelmed. It's overwhelmed. So overwhelmed here means you feel that you're going to run out of breath. You are going to be like nervous, too nervous. So pacing, controlling can get you back on track. For some people, this is like, especially when they feel really nervous, they're going to feel like as if this is going to be their last breath. But when they pause, have a conscious pause, okay, I'm going to pause here, I'm going to breathe. And then the next main point, see, this can help them get back on track. Okay, now, like I say, don't pause too much or too little, because if you pause too much, it's going, we have a saying called like leaky faucet. So think of it like when you turn off the faucet so that you want to stop the water from running. But if that faucet wasn't turned off properly, you're going to hear drip, 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 drip like that. See, it means you pause too much, okay? But overflowing faucet is when you turn on the faucet at the, what you call, with the maximum force so that the water runs down like a waterfall. So that's like, so that's like you're going to say, this is what I like about this. This is what I did. This is what I, it's too fast, okay? So don't be a faucet. Either leaky faucet or overflowing faucet, okay? Now, another advice is pause to emphasize a word or phrase. So when I want to emphasize something, it's good to attract their attention by pausing so that they know this is what you want to pause. Like I said, it can be intentionally before you say something important. Or you can use transition like this. If you remember only one thing today, I'd like for you to remember this. Love is better than war. See, if I just say, if you remember only one thing today, I'd like for you to remember this. Love is better than war. This is almost like rapping. They don't know where's the essential thing you want to say. But if you pause there to remember this, love is better than war. See, this is more clearly for the audience to see. Huh? You can even pause for humor or emotion, like I said, if you're trying to convince the people to do something or to show them the emotional part of your presentation. Well, of course, use pause, okay? So, like, for example, when you're talking about a serious topic, pause to let your message sink in. Sink in here means so that the audience can have time to think about what you said and then react to that idea, okay? Sink in like that. There are over 400,000 Rohingya attempting to flee Myanmar. See, this is emotional now. You are drawing the audience attention to the numbers, to the tragic circumstances behind their immigration, okay? Not just as a minority. Now, especially when you want to do humor, pausing is vital, okay? You can watch Note Udom's stand-up comedy and you will see, I promise you, that he actually has pause at the right moment. That's how he makes the audience laugh naturally, okay? He pauses for them and then emphasize that hook, okay? With pausing, perfect pausing. Go back and see stand-up comedy, okay? The pause needs to be long enough to allow your audience to think about the punchline. Like I said, either to humor or to emotion, you need them to think. And to have time to think, you need pausing. Also, if you're too quick, the audience doesn't have enough time to think and react. Okay? They only have time to hear the words you say, but not what you mean by saying that. Okay? So give them time. Always remember you're unique, just like everyone else. So if I say, always remember you're unique, just like everyone else, they can't follow that. But if I say, always remember you're unique, it means I'm emphasizing that you're special, right? The word special, the word unique. That's what I try to emphasize. Now they can think of, oh, okay, I am unique, I'm special. Now they have time to talk to themselves inside their heads, okay? Now, besides pausing, you also need other verbal skills such as intonation. If you don't remember this, well, try to think back to listening and pronunciation course, okay? The intonation is the melody of spoken language. So when you hear, the easiest comparison I can make is when you hear the monk praying, okay? That's monotonous, okay? Monotonous means the sound adjusts like the same pitch, same level, right? Like this. That's no pitch, there's no intonation there, okay? But in spoken language, you naturally do a melody. You naturally do intonation in the way that when you ask question and you expect the other person to answer, you do it with a high-pitched voice, right? Right? Are you a doctor? Do you love me? See? That's a high intonation. I don't want to go to school. You don't say, I don't want to go to school. You're not asking me if you don't want to go. You are telling me. And that's, if you want to tell me something, you do the low intonation at the end of the sentence, okay? That's why we call it melody, because there's up and down, okay? Our voices move up and down, higher and lower, rising and falling, okay? Now, even you talking about the same words with different pitches means different meaning, okay? So be careful with the intonation. Are you asking the audience or you are just posing the question to the audience? Well, do you want another World War III or not? See, this is like you are not really asking them to be yes or no, but if you ask, do you want a World War III? Well, this means like you really want to know the answers, okay? So, different meanings, be careful. Organize ideas for the listener too, okay? So, when I list things, okay? Oh, I like my most favorite cars in the world are Lamborghinis, Porsche, and Audi. See? When I list things, if I say, oh, my favorite cars in the world, Lamborghini, Porsche, Toyota, and that's it, like it's easier for me to just pause and having a high intonation in between the list, okay, the name of the things you say, so it's easier for the listener. And also, if I want to express his feelings and emotions, intonation is the best way to do that, okay? Such as surprise, anger, happiness, sadness, curiosity, that can be done with the correct intonation. Now, to use proper intonation, we must first analyze the content of what we want to say. So that's why sometimes you need a script before, or like an actor, or even a commercial. Like if you've heard someone who put their voices in the commercials, and if you actually can see their script in front of them, it's not just like text there. There are going to be marks by pencil circling certain words, underlining certain things, even slashes in between the sentence. You don't just say, oh, please buy Breeze Power Excel, the new one. You see, you have there'll be marks there. I guarantee you that. Please buy the new Galaxy phone, for example. Okay, because it can help with the intonation can help with the content analyzation. Okay, so there are ways to use intonation correctly. The proper intonation would be to first separate into thought groups. If you still remember from listening course, okay? Thought groups, separate them into thought group first. I want to go to the sea with my brother. See? I want to go to the sea with my brother. See? You have 3 thought groups. You group important words together and then show us when to pause, okay? Use slash like this. Then find the focus words. I mean, when you separate these words into groups, within that group, underline or circle the focus words that you want to emphasize, okay? And these focus words, you only draw attention to the important ones, okay? Important words. And it shows us when to change the pitch. If you can't remember, look at this slide. Okay? With the focus words, it means the pitch go either higher or lower. Okay? Highness or lowness of a sound when you do a pitch. Okay? Like Mariah Carey, she can sing really, really high notes. So you can say, oh, Mariah Carey high pitch is magnificent. See? To rise, to move up. To fall, to move down. Okay? So you must use the meaning and the grammar to figure out which words needs focus. You can't just say everything in a monotonous tone, okay? You need intonation. And to actually know which word you have to rise your intonation, which word to lower your intonation, that takes practices, okay? And you need to know the grammar of that word and also the meaning, okay? And how are you going to do that? Well, look at this table. See? In a sentence, content words tend to be stressed. So we use it with stress also, okay? There are 2 things, content words and function words, okay? The content words, you stress, okay? You emphasize that word. Made this into focus word. So you focus on the nouns, the main verbs, the adjectives, possessive pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, interrogatives, not and negative contractions, adverbs, and adverbial particles. These are just examples. Some sentences don't have all these words, okay? But when you see nouns, see main verbs, see adjectives, separate them. You know that these are content words, okay? But when you see function words, sometimes you don't have to stress it. You don't have to say it out loud or pause like this as if you are stressing every word. See, this is unnatural, so don't follow what I've just said, okay? For function words, you don't need to stress articles and the, auxiliary verbs will, shall, can, could, may, might, personal pronouns, possessive adjectives, personal pronoun I, me, you, we, they, possessive adjectives his, her, your, demonstrative adjectives, prepositions, and conjunctions. Okay, so these are just like basic rules. Okay, maybe you don't understand the rules. For some people, you can separate the thought groups naturally by yourself. But if you really want to know the rules, these are the rules. Okay, now these are just one passage. Okay, one paragraph of news. Okay, and so you can practice pausing and intonation with this news article. There is no one way, like absolute one way to read this passage out loud. But if you really have to, maybe you can use, there's the, what you call dictation. No, maybe you can have the, if you open a PDF file using Internet Explorer, there's actually an option in the toolbar that can read the passage for you. So try that out if you want to know. But for me, just for me, okay, in my opinion, this is my style of reading this. So notice my when do I pause, okay, and notice the intonation. How do I rises the what do you call my pitch, and when do I lower my pitch, okay? So listen, this is just an example, okay? Prayut tells UN Thailand is ready to share COVID knowledge. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha has expressed Thailand's readiness to share knowledge and experiences in combating COVID-19 at the general debate of the 75th session of the United Nations General Assembly. He thanked the World Health Organization for recognizing Thailand as one of the countries which has provided the most effective response to COVID-19, notably drawing strength from its universal health coverage scheme. Moreover, Thailand stands ready to share its knowledge and experiences with interested countries through the Foreign Policy and Global Health Initiative, he said. That's just an example, okay?